What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Unfiltered and Out There, episode 16 or something like that. We're still in the alphabet. Today, I have a special guest, Cayla, You Are Pancake, handle for YouTube, gamer extraordinaire, professional, heading to the League of Legends, all that cool shit
Lord,
soon.
Not League.
Yeah, I'll be there chugging Red Bulls in the back. What's going on?
Nothing much, man.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine years ago. I went over to his house and he was watching the League of Legends, like the tournament.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is this, bro? It's like, there's like people set up in like chairs gaming. And I was like, is that money? Like they're winning money? He's like, yeah.
Go to LAN.
So what games do they do? I mean, I guess they have tournaments for all kind of games.
There's tons out there. There's almost any game you can think of almost has, except for like your cozy games like Minecraft or
I wonder if The Sims has one. Who built a better house?
I don't think there's one for The Sims. Although Kelly would be really good at that one. That's her favorite game.
Yeah, I got an accent wall over here, everybody.
Yeah. No, there's League of Legends. There's another game called Dota that's very similar to League. Just like
anything like the bird?
What?
Isn't there a dodo bird? No, that's extinct.
Well, Dota, D-O-T-A.
Okay, I was close.
You were close. Props for trying.
Okay. And most of these aren't held in America, or some of them are, right?
Yeah. So they kind of go around. There usually it's the game that I play, for example, Apex Legends. They have different tournaments that goes on. Most of it is online based right now because of COVID and stuff. It kind of shut a lot of stuff down, so they don't do as much like of the LAN type. I don't want to say national stuff.
Yeah,
like,
where everyone gets in the stadium and games out.
Yeah, they'll just do that like mostly online for like the national stuff. So like all the North American teams will play, but they'll all play online instead of at a LAN.
Oh,
and
so they have teams. They're not just. It's not just an individual.
Yeah.
Kind of
So
thing.
there's a bunch
That's
of
cool.
esports teams that they have.
PlayStation. Sorry.
That's a console, but yeah. Yeah, so there's like the North American teams. There's APAC North, which I think is more of the like Asian area.
The Asians.
Asia. Hold on. Asia area. Okay.
The little Asian people. We love you, but you all look the same. Come on.
Fuck?
Like, I don't know. Wear some different color scarves or something.
There's Europe. There's all sorts of stuff. But each of the regions will play with their teams, and then the top teams in the regions can, if they win certain tournaments, they get sent to. Well, Apex has the Apex Legends Global Series or ALGS, so they'll pick like a place for it to play. And all the teams who qualify will get to go there. So, like, actually, right now, there's one going on in Japan really soon, in the next, like, week or so.
That's pretty sweet. Now, do you ever plan to do something like that? I mean, would it be fun?
Bro.
I mean,
I would love to go to one. I actually, the first one I ever went, you might, MLG, do you remember that?
Yeah.
So, MLG doesn't exist anymore, but, because it got, like, bought out. But the first ever gaming competition I went to was the MLG Finals. It was in New Orleans, and I ended up going. It's for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Oh, shit. That sounds cool. So they do games like, so they just kind of do any games, really. It's whatever's the popular
any competitive games. Actually, in the MLG Finals, when I went there, I think I was like 12 when I went. To preface that, I'm 21 now, so a little bit ago.
Yeah.
But I went. They were actually doing like a Smash Bros tournament,
nice.
Right next to it too. It was kind of cool to like in between games you could go watch the other tournament going on. It was kind of cool. And then of course they had like sponsors and stuff set up around.
Now, do they have any rules? Like if you're playing a game like Smash Bros in a tournament, what if everybody wants to play like and use like the same character like Kirby, or how does that work?
So a lot of games will have like a ban period for certain characters. I don't know the specifics about Smash Bros. I don't know about that, but I can tell you there's the newer game, Marvel Rivals. I don't know if you heard about that, but
yeah,
that game I know, like in their competitive, they have a ban section, or kind of when you play like ranked or competitive, they'll let you ban like 2 characters on each team.
Oh, Kirby's definitely in that list.
Kirby
Everyone's
would
like,
be.
yeah, I'm gonna get Kirby because then I could be everybody.
Kirby and Ness.
Oh yeah, Ness is a secret weapon if you know what's up.
Yeah.
I mean, he could, I mean, what was the game? Earthbound? Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, fucking Ness. I like Link.
Ness.
Link or
you like
freaking
the sword fighters?
yeah. I mean, when I played Soul Calibur growing up, it was always like Cervantes or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking. Just growing up with that, I play a lot of Dragon Ball Z. Like the last game station I had, so I used to play a lot of video games. I was like into games, and then this is when PS2 was relatively new. It was
What year
like
did that come out?
I don't know. It was like 20 years ago. I was playing. I don't know. It was like early 2000s. Maybe it was like 2005, six,
Okay, I was born
seven.
in 03, so I
Okay.
didn't get to experience the PS2.
Yeah,
actually.
so it was cool because there's this game, So I played all the Dragon Ball Z games. I watched that growing up, and it was Tenkaichi 2. And I would get so fucking pissed at that game. Like, I would beat everybody, and then next thing you know, someone would just go like Super Saiyan 3, and I'd be like, you motherfucker, making a spirit ball over here. And I would get pissed, and I'd like be yelling at the TV, like, I fucking hate you. I will unplug you and pour water on you, you stupid TV. Like, I'd be getting mad at that thing. I'm like, I think I need to get rid of this game. So I like playing games with people, but I definitely get into them, especially campaign games like Halo and all that. I'd get pissed at the grunts. I'd be like, I'll fucking kill you.
I think if you got into like current FPS games, I think you would have a lot of fun, but I think you would get into the rage a bit.
Yeah, I think video games actually. I was thinking about this earlier. A lot of people put a lot of hate on video games, and I don't. I just don't play them. But like, I see the good in them. It's kind of like anything in moderation is good.
Yeah.
But I think video games are a cool outlet for someone like who's extremely like outdoors and like social and stuff to do that. So that way it's like a different kind of a healthy outlet. Like, of course, they're probably going to the gym and doing this, that, and another, but then they can like have a way to kind of, it challenges your brain to think really quick.
Yeah.
And it does a lot of cool stuff. Like, you got to like squint and stuff. You're like me, you need glasses. You're like, what the fuck is that? Oh, I'm dead. Fuck you, spawn kill. And I'm like, oh, I shot myself in the foot. I'm like, okay. All right. Not getting mad at anybody. So Apex Legends, that's your game.
That's the one that I'm mostly playing right now. Although it's kind of starting to be considered a dead game because it's going downhill just a little bit.
And what does that mean?
So I mean, the game's been around. It came out in 2019, I believe. I didn't start playing it until like season.
That's pretty
8
good
of the
though.
Game.
If it's still going strong, I mean, judging technology, well, kind of strong.
Kind of, yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of like talks about it. The player count's down about a lot, and obviously there's other games that are coming out. People are playing more, but like it still has like people still play the game.
Okay, so what's like game number 2 for you?
Right now, Marvel Rivals. I've been playing that a lot. That's really popular right now.
You play PC normally when you stream?
Yeah, PC. Mostly PC.
So Marvel Rivals, how does that work? Are you like the Avengers? Or like, is it a
kind of? So you play as a Marvel character, or whoever's in the game. There's like Iron Man's in it, Winter Soldier's in it, Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man is in the game, Venom,
okay,
Hulk. Like there's a bunch of the Marvel characters are in it, and you just kind of Overwatch.
Yeah, so you're basically you pick a character and then you'll go and fight whoever else is in that game.
Kind of, yeah. There's always an objective.
Cool.
There's always an objective. So like some of them are just you have to capture this point and hold it for a certain amount of time. And it's a team of 6 players. So I mean, if you have enough people to play with, you can have 6 friends or 5 friends technically hop on, and all of you just play different classes. Each of the characters are separated in different classes. So you have like your tanks, which would be like the Hulk, Venom, Penny Parker, stuff like that. And then you have
so you can play with like Marvel characters and then like Sony's Marvel kind of weird bought out characters, like I guess you could say there's certain, I don't know, I guess that's why the Hulk, they couldn't, he can't be in they haven't remade any Hulk movies with just the Hulk. They had to do She-Hulk and then throw him in because Sony still owns the rights to Hulk.
Right. It's similar to like the Spider-Man thing, but with the game, it's a little bit different, I think, because it's like it's a full collaborative effort. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
that's
know
pretty
specifics about that, actually. But there's a bunch of characters. They just added some of the Fantastic Four characters.
Oh, sweet.
So.
Hell yeah. So, I mean, whenever you're playing video games, what's the best part about it? Is it like the thrill of like in Apex, like is that like Fortnite at all whenever you can like build stuff?
Well, so Fortnite is special in itself for being able to build stuff. But it is a battle royale game, which is like that genre of game. where like you spawn in and there's like 150 other players in the lobby, and you have to whoever's the last survivor wins, basically.
Okay.
It's kind of how Apex is, but Apex is more team based, so it's either a duo, so 2 people, or 3 people to a team. And basically you just kind of fight everyone and win.
That's pretty sweet. Now,
Sounds cool.
have you ever been playing? It's like 12 o'clock at night, and you're playing, and you're on a fucking streak. It's like 12 games in, and you're just like unfucking stoppable. Like you're killing everyone, headshot, freaking mag shot to the face, whatever. Like pistol whipping people, and then you're getting tired, but you're just like, do you ever get that high of like game kills to where you're like, I'm not done playing?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. That's a big thing in like the gaming community. A lot of people get that way. Not like I don't. What's the
Not
last
killing
thing?
real people.
No.
Yeah.
No. It was like 2 nights ago. I was playing with Cheyenne, and we were just gaming. And it was really fun. I was just like, I don't really want to get off, but like I had work, so I had to get off. It was like 2 a.m. I was like, oh Lord.
Now, so I haven't played video games recently. So if you're playing like on the PC, and say I'm playing the same game on like Xbox or whatever, could we potentially still play?
Yeah.
And different. It's just you're using that and I'm using this, but the online server connects them all.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
cross-platform gaming is and crossplay is very big
sweet.
right now.
Hell yeah. So you don't have to. I remember growing up whenever like Halo 1 came out and the first Xbox. I was pretty young. My stepbrothers were big gamers. I mean, they played Counter-Strike like no one's business. They'd be like, secluded in their room till 4 in the after, or they would stay up until like 5 a.m. and they would sleep till 4 p.m., wake up, refuel, and then game all night. You would just hear like, I'd be like, okay, we're not at war. I thought we were at war. Like, what's going on? What's going on? I woke up to that. And then I'd be like, Eric, shut the hell up. And he'd be like, he would turn it down. I'd be like, we fucking hear you, bro. You can't just turn it down and act like we didn't just say that shit to you. And it would be awesome. But we would, when Halo 1 came out and the Xbox, there was no online anything at that time. This is like 2005, maybe. Well, Halo 1 came out on PC before that, but like, whenever it was like Xbox and all that. So I remember one time my stepbrothers, I see all these people pull up at our house. And there's like 10 cars, and they're all carrying like big TVs with them, like the heavy TVs.
A LAN party.
Yeah, and so like this is what you had to do back then.
Yeah.
And I remember, my dad was getting pissed because like the fucking breakers are tripping and they're plugging them into outlets and shit. One of them was set up in the bathroom. One had the TV like on the floor, and he was sitting on our washing machine with the fucking Xbox on top, like wherever you can get a spot. And you would just hear the whole house like, fuck you, bitch. And I'd be like, whoa. I'm 7. I learned a new word, like,
Right,
it was fucking awesome. And I was like, can I play? And they're like, sure. And this is, I do the same thing. They're like, here, hold this controller and stand right there. And they would all just kill me. I'm like, you fuckers. Like, and it was pretty cool though, seeing all these like, set up and, it was different times, but, yeah, I enjoyed it. So, You do a lot of streaming and stuff. What do you do outside of that? So I know you like to edit videos and just do a lot of like general content work and
So I like to just scratch a creative itch in my brain and just make little videos. Mostly just editing is a lot of what I do. Like to just make things, create something that only like I can explain.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, well, I was thinking the other day too, like, have you ever watched like well, I'm sure you've seen the old like Rudolph movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like Wallace and Gromit. I'm like, bad quality, but like I respect it like I do the original Wizard of Oz. Like, damn, this old movie, and it wasn't bad. It's like to get clay and make like these movies, I'm like, that's something unique. It's granted, animation and all that is way better, but I appreciate it equally because I'm like, that's a lot of fucking building shit. You know what I mean? Like little clay figures, and now he has to frown, and you got to like go over here and adjust the face. It's like, what the hell? So that's cool. I know. So editing videos. Is there any like, anything in particular like you like to work with the most? Like, say you had a client and they came up to you, and what's the dream person to work with? Like an idea for them to be like, here's my idea, have at it.
I mean, gaming videos are the most fun for me to edit just because I've been doing it for a while, so I kind of already have like my foot in the door with that a little bit. So that's really a lot of what I want to get into mostly. because it's such a popular thing too. But obviously, I want to be like a YouTube editor specific, so making YouTube videos specifically. Because there's tons of different types of editing, movie editing, music videos, and stuff like that too. But specifically, like content creation in the terms of like, I don't know, like vlogs or gaming videos or little things like that.
Vlogs and randomness.
Yeah, essentially.
I feel you.
That's really what I like to do. Mostly gaming stuff, though. I feel like editing is fun because you can take something and just make, like, I can take something that's like not funny, like a clip that's not very funny, and then I can make it funny with editing, you know?
Okay, so with editing versus like, now when you say with editing, is that like you doing voiceovers over it or captions, or is that like, oh yeah, he accidentally stepped on a landmine that wasn't originally there. There goes your leg, Lieutenant Dan, bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So I mean, there's all sorts of different ways you can do it, but like adding voiceovers or throwing memes in there.
Okay, that's cool.
That always makes it fun. It makes it more engaging too for the viewer because it's something that they're familiar with too.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, I don't know when the first time, like, memes came out. Like, I'm trying to think. Had to have been, like...
Bro, I swear, they've been around
like,
for a long time. Since
like
the
20...
internet's existence.
Yeah, I mean, they probably have been, but I feel like they kind of, like, really blew up in, like, the 2010, 2008, somewhere in there. Like, they started becoming, like,
in
the thing.
2010s, yeah.
I mean, I know, and sometimes people will make those, and, like, that's just... Have you ever, like, thought about doing stuff? Because, like, that's making something funny with content. Like, I love that picture of just everyone's seen it, but, like, different captions with the cat sitting at the table with the blonde chick, like, or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I know.
And
exactly
everyone's just like, you know, it's like, I mean, it's kind of similar, right? Making it funny with, like, you know, editing.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, you can use, any video clip that gets, like, popular, if you just throw it in something, usually it'll, like, it can make it funny.
Oh, yeah.
Or, you know.
Do you ever watch, like, growing up? I remember, you know, we watched this. Now, I had cable growing up, just simple cable. We didn't have, like, you know, I remember whenever Netflix, I had to wait 2 days for it to come in the mail and stuff and Gamefly and all that. But
I
like,
had Gamefly, not Netflix, though. But
yeah, and it was
DirecTV.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But we would watch stuff like the Animal Planet, and, like, I always loved America's Funniest Home Videos.
Bro, I loved that show. I would watch it every weekend with my grandparents. Every time I went over to their house, always watch it. Yeah,
it's awesome. And I know, what's his name? I'm blanking out. Dana White co-owns it now. It's what's that guy's name? He's a skater. Freaking Ridiculousness, the show.
That sounds familiar.
It's got that skater on it. Someone's gonna be like, "Oh, you idiot! Is this?" It's whatever the guy's name is, but he kind of does something similar with it, kind of like what Tosh.0 would do. You know, I like Daniel Tosh. Now he does a podcast and stuff because, he got too funny for what I say for Comedy Central. They're like, it's in their name, Comedy Central. So you got to let just free speech comedy happen. And he's just like, whatever, you know. But I wish that'd be kind of like a dream side gig for me to do too. Is like just like someone post a video. Oh, we're having a wonderful family outing, and you know, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna tear this apart, and we're gonna make fun of y'all, like, you know. It's always been fun. I like to people watch, and I just see the reactions. I'll just be standing in public, and you'll see people being happy, and then someone will just get slapped, and I'm like, oh shit, what just happened? And then
like, it's so interesting too, because it also gives you the perspective of like everyone's living different lives too.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I mean, especially watching like the movie Inception. Like,
that's a good movie.
There's been times where I've noticed everyone's like. This freaked me out this one time it happened. I was in Atlanta. I was working, but I had the day off, and I was walking around downtown Atlanta near Buckhead, and everyone just started looking at me that was walking towards me. You know, like that scene in Inception? Mm-hmm. And she was like, what does that mean? He's like, well, that means you're changing the dream too much, and they know that. I was like, wake the fuck up, you know? Yeah. And then they were like looking at me harder. I'm like, ah. And then I realized I didn't have a shirt on, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I looked kind of homeless. I had like dirt on my face. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but I was like, okay. And I don't remember still, like, what the hell? Like, I can't remember what I was doing. Like, it was hot as shit. Maybe I just took my shirt off because it's hot. But for a minute there, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was overthinking, and I didn't even realize, like, it was something like that. And it's just crazy to watch people, especially getting into writing stand-up comedy. Sometimes I'll just go somewhere public like the mall or like, the zoo or something, and I'll just watch people and just whatever they're doing. And I've gotten some of the funniest stuff to like work with. It's,
Right.
it's always interesting to watch people. I'm not judging them because I was thinking the other day too, the best group of people you could talk the most shit about. Literally, you could roast them alive and they'll never know. The Amish. Because they don't have a fucking TV. So I could sit there and just be like, y'all suck. Why y'all making dirt cakes over there? And they'll just be like, someone will be like knocking on their door. Hey, you were on the YouTube. And they'll be like, what? And
Right,
it's
yeah.
like, I was like, man, I got to go meet some Amish people. Actually, there's a little Amish town in South Carolina, and it's near this place called Healing Springs. And we used to go fill up all this water from this Native American spring. And they make some of the best like food there. I remember the last
Yeah.
time I went, these people like they tried to marry me to their daughter. I was there just getting some food and a loaf of bread, and this guy came up with like the little fucking mustacheless beard man. You know what I mean? Like looking Amish and stuff. He was cool, and he was like, "Here's some butter," and I was like, "Thanks, that goes good with my bread." And he was like, "Here's my daughter," and I was like, "Oh hey." And he was like, "Would you like to marry her?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "I mean, we haven't even like truly like looked in each other's eyes yet." And he's just like, "You can." I was like, "I know," and I was like, "Let me go ponder this over a loaf of bread." He was like, "The whole loaf," and I'm like, "I don't, this is just interesting. All this happening so fast. We haven't even had our first date. And now I'm about to go fucking eat my sorrows away. And like she's over here getting her feelings hurt. She's like, a man. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, what the fuck's going on, man? But I ended up talking with her and she was pretty cool. But definitely didn't work out. Because I guess they didn't really have like toothbrushes going on.
Mm.
And I was like,
All right.
you know what I mean? And it was funny though, but good people, but you could talk shit and they'll never know. So I know we were talking a few weeks back about a few conspiracy things. Well, I guess let's get into the most relevant news. It's 8:16 right now.
Oh no.
So apparently TikTok is supposed to be banned at 8:30 is what you told me. You may
Yeah,
know.
it's been going around on like it was been on my For You page a couple times. And people saying that. I guess people who are involved in like the TikTok creator program got like an email or something that said it would be like 8:30.
Shit. Yeah, I know. I saw something with some legislation. Like I was watching, because now that I'm looking at everything, like it's, I heard. So one of the coolest breaking news stories the other day, and this is the kind of thing America needs. Is I definitely like when it comes to anybody in any place of office, whether it's president, senator, House of Representatives, Congress, anything. I may or may not align with them politically, but I don't ever wish any of them ill. And I'm like, well, you got voted in. So I pray to God you do the best you can
Right.
because I don't want you to do the worst you could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have to find a way to support whoever's in, And I saw this thing like before Trump was even put in office the other day. He had reached out, speaking of the conflict over in the Middle East, and he reached out to Israel and Palestine. He's like, hey, if y'all don't stop killing each other, he's like, I will fucking show up and you will both pay. He's like, stop. And they did. And he's like, I need the people back that y'all have captive now. And they're fucking giving them back. Palestinians back to, Israel's giving Palestine. We're getting Americans back. And like, even Joe Biden was like, he's like, thanks, and he was like, appreciate it. And that was a cool thing. But he was saying with that same thing, he's like, I don't want Twitter to go away. He's like, because I'm all for free speech. But the more and more I looked into it, it's like not Twitter, fucking TikTok. I guess that's called X now.
Yeah, Twitter's already gone.
But basically, it's the company that owns it, and the theory that I have heard is like it's being sold for so little to where hopefully an American buys it, and then it's thrown on like an American server.
Yeah.
The only reason is just the certain forms of information, and I don't know too much about it, but like certain forms of information in which China's gathering through TikTok But I also look at it like this too. I'm like, in China, they're far more sheltered and things. So like, people often say like, oh, social media is so corrupt, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but America's fucking corrupt. So I think we're doing this to ourselves. I don't think this is anybody, you know what I mean? I think if I'm sitting there searching tennis players all day, I'm gonna see tennis players. If I'm like gamers, fucking killing noobs, I'm gonna see that shit all day. Like it's whatever you're searching. It's like the algorithm. So I don't really know too much about the whole thing. What do you know about it other than it's cancellation? Hopefully not.
So I know that the Supreme Court upheld the ban for the 19th tomorrow. I know that there was a bunch of talks of like Mr. Beast trying to buy it, a bunch of other places trying to buy it. I do know that there was a video the CEO posted on TikTok, actually, of the CEO of TikTok posted, and he was thanking Trump for helping with it, like before it was even like fully passed within the Supreme Court.
Well, and that's just how the news works. Like, if you don't know, like a year ago, people were saying Trump was like against it, this, that, and other, and I'm like, I'm watching him say the opposite. He's like, I'm not against it. He's like, I love free speech, social platforms. We just need to make sure we're literally keeping certain barriers for America that most people wouldn't even ever really realize. They're things that go deep into like coding and crap like that have nothing to do with like people like us just posting shit,
Yeah. I know that. I know the CEO is going to be at the inauguration. I do know it is going to go down, but there was talks that like, I guess Trump himself said that he was going to like push the ban back 90 days whenever he gets in office. So basically everyone's saying it's going to go down for like a day. And then on the 20th, when he gets in office, it'll get pushed back and we'll get TikTok back again. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and one cool thing too is, and a lot of people, I think this has been one of the absolute coolest elections ever. Not saying simply just the victory, but just seeing that, I don't hate Joe Biden at all. I don't wish him bad in life. I just think he was not a good person to put into office for that party. I was like, y'all should have like congregated him and like, can we get someone like at least 10 years younger? You know what I mean? Someone who can like, because even him, he needs to just go retire, enjoy the rest of his life. Trump's old too, but he's remained healthy. He's, one thing most people don't know about Trump, he's definitely like the business side of things, but he's never once had a sip of alcohol, smoked a cigarette, or done a drug. All because his brother, I read this in his book that he wrote in the 80s, was an alcoholic. Every time he would see his brother, he was like, never do it, and Trump, in his book was like, he's got the type personality like me. If I pick that habit up, I'm going to go hard. So I just don't do it. You know what I mean? And it's like, he's always just been like straight edge by that, and it's pretty cool because a lot of things get misconstrued, but it was really neat to see like the country like come together. I didn't see all this horrendous things happening around because of this. I saw people that were like, we need to focus the next 4 years on just some core things, like just general safety. Like I love this country. I love the fact we have like, we're a melting pot, but we do just need to make sure people are like coming in the right way because of the fentanyl crisis and stuff like that. And then when you look at things like free speech, like, especially me going into comedy, the only reason I started doing it now is because Trump is all for free speech. Like it's, I hate the whole like cancel culture thing. I think certain things like you shouldn't be talking about like pedophilia and like, horrible things like, yeah, we should turn that shit off. But, some people are like, well, where does it stop? I'm like, well, yeah, I think you're breaking like a law within that. You can, still say it, but it's like, it's going to then cause some kind of repercussions towards people, looking at you and, or like, it's just going to cause the wrong kind of attention. I'm not saying you don't have the right to say it. You do, but it's like, yeah, I think, TikTok should be hopefully brought back. Cause I never TikToked before, I guess this past year, and it's been pretty cool. I see a lot of funny stuff on there.
Yeah, it's fun.
And you post a lot on TikTok, yeah?
Yeah, I post at least usually every other day. Try to do it daily because I make all my own stuff. So
And do a lot of people follow you, like, comment on your stuff, like some funny stuff, like, oh, headshot, they like get in on it.
Kind of, yeah. Right now, it's mostly people talking about how dead Apex Legends is, and I'm like, yeah, but my whole thing is like I can still have fun with the game.
Yeah.
So that's all me. Like if
you're having
if I'm not
fun.
having fun, I'm not gonna play it, which I'm still having fun with it, and I don't play it as often as I used to, which I think has helped a lot with that.
No, that's pretty cool. And you've got, you said you got some people that you play with too. So it's like, socializing, you're not just playing, it's, and I don't even think there's bad habits of people just playing video games by themselves, having like that, altered reality of like being like, just a voice with like a little animated person, just like killing people and stuff, I don't know if that's how you'd put it, but like, I always thought that was kind of funny too. It's, and I probably got up playing video games because I'd be like, I am that person. I'd start getting involved.
That starts getting a red flag. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, dude, it's all right. You need to hit the gym, man. What the hell? You slacking. He just killed you. What the hell? Get on it, And but I guess that's my personality. I just get super like, if I want to do something, I do it hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I could say there's definitely a few games that have like, I don't want to say changed my life, but there's some games out there that are like super good enough to where it's like I don't want to say it kind of alters your viewpoint in a way sometimes.
Like what games?
Detroit Become Human is a really good game.
Never heard of that. So
that I really like.
What's it about?
So basically it is you play as these androids. So you live in this world. It's the US in Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
Like in the future where androids exist. And so you can go and buy an android as like a housekeeper, caretaker, whatever you need it for. And you play as these 3 different androids in different points of view. So one of them, his name's Connor. He is an android that was created to be a detective with the police. So you kind of play as him, and there's like androids are kind of going rogue.
So what is like an android when you've got like an android, a robot, like iRobot robot, and then you got like cyborgs? Like what's the difference,
I'd say it's more like the iRobot robots, but they look human.
It's almost like a robot with AI in its head, like it can do
kind of, yeah. The whole point of the game is that the robots are basically becoming conscious.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So you play as Connor as a detective. There's also one named Marcus, who is he was a caretaker for an old man who was an artist, and he was brought up really well, but then he was abused by the son of the painter.
The android was abused?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this question. I thought this a while back, and you might have an interesting point of view.
Okay.
So say you're an android in this game, and you like commit a crime. Mm-hmm. Does that android get rights like a human?
That's what the whole game is about.
So does it or does it not?
It depends on how you play the game. So
okay.
It's a choice-based game. So however you choose to play as the characters, you can pick. In certain instances, it gives you like different choices to pick. Whatever choices you pick can decide the outcome of the game. There's a bunch of different outcomes for each character.
Oh shit, that's pretty cool. So like you'll just be playing and it'll be like go down alley A or B. Kind of,
something like that. There's another character, her name's Kara. She takes care of this little girl. And the father is abusive. So she ends up, because she's an android watching this father abuse the daughter, and she ends up like becoming conscious because her whole objective is to protect the child and take care of the child. So she ends up becoming conscious and runs away with her to try to protect her.
That's good that the android didn't like jump in like WWE. I brought the chair, like, at least the android is like got that moral compass of like, this is not okay. This is not okay. Okay, stop repeating it. We know that. Go get help. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's even like in the game the scenes of them like breaking it's like them almost breaking a wall of code that's like telling them, no, you can't do this, you can't do this. Yeah. But they break it anyways because they become conscious beings. It's a really good game though, because like I said, it's all the different outcomes of what could happen.
And what's it called again?
Detroit Become Human.
Detroit Become Human. Now is that a relatively newer game, or is it old?
It came out in 2016.
Okay. But it's still played by some people?
Yeah. So on occasion, I'll still play it. I still own the game, and if let's say I'm sick for like a few days, I'll just replay the game. There's, like I said, there's all sorts of different outcomes, so I could get a different ending each time I play,
That's
depending
pretty
on what
cool.
I pick.
Hell yeah. So so you said you had a couple games that changed your life. Androids son of a...
Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, Detroit Become Human.
The Spider-Man PlayStation games are really good.
Okay.
Mostly the first one. That one was really good to play.
When you say PlayStation, I'm assuming you mean like 8, or what are we on?
We're on 5, but
Okay.
it came out with the PS4.
Okay,
Original
nice.
Those are really good games. The Last of Us is my favorite game of all time.
I've heard a lot of people talk about that game.
My tattoo that's from the game.
Now, is that more of a campaign kind of game, or is that?
Yeah, it's a solo story game.
Those are some of the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. I headbutted her. I was like, shit.
Yeah, no, they so they actually have a show about it now. The show's really good, and it's mostly kind of pretty accurate to the game, but they did make some changes to make it somewhat more realistic.
Is it like anime?
No.
Oh no.
No.
So it's like live action.
Pedro Pascal plays the main guy in it.
And it's called Last of Us?
The Last of Us, yeah. It's a really good show. I recommend it. But it's basically, do you know of the cordyceps fungus?
No, that's a mushroom, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So basically, it's a type of fungus that it mostly happens in, like, ants, kind of like little bugs and stuff. But it can take over its brain function. And basically, the fungus will take over the ant. Does that make sense?
So, like, a fungus grows out of the ant?
Kind of, but then the fungus... So think about it like a hive mind. So the fungus then controls the ant and does what the fungus needs to do, which a fungus would spread. Right?
It's so crazy that most all mushrooms, whether it be deadly, just nutritious, hallucinogenic, all of them have some kind of feature that interacts with the nervous system or the brain, whether it's brain dead,
yeah,
or like hallucinating, or like portobello mushrooms, like certain ones, like they help like, create more like oxygen or some crap like that towards the brain. Like,
yeah,
it's like the mushroom is like the brain of like the ground. I don't know, like some shit. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically the cordyceps virus in the game will mutate. It mutated and got attached to humans. So then
shit.
Yeah. And then it started multiplying because the cordyceps was taking over the humans. And so they are no longer conscious. They're only thinking, I need to multiply and create more. So they would bite. It's zombie-like, kind of. But
that's pretty cool.
Dealing with something that is, like, real.
Yeah, I mean, is that a real fungus in real life?
Yeah. That's
Holy
the
crap.
the ant example I gave. That happens.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of scary to think about. Watch the show, and it gets even scarier because I'm like,
damn. The only other movie I've seen about mushrooms is the movie called Shrooms.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that?
Nope.
It's like they're like hiking in the woods, and he's like, shrooms, and then he eats it, and the guy's like, don't eat the black nipple, and then it's like one to kill you kind, but like you're gonna trip really hard before you die, and it's like that's what the whole movie's about. It's a horror movie, and I'm like, what? Why didn't I watch all hour and a half of this? So The Last of Us, the Michigan game, and then
Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn's a really good game.
Okay. Yeah, for me growing up, like Tony Hawk Pro Skater,
yeah,
that was definitely like whenever that came out. I remember we were waiting in line. It's like there wasn't a GameStop, at least near us. If there was GameStops, we were waiting in line at Walmart trying to get it. Like, and then because Walmart would let you for like a week beforehand play it in the store, and you'd be trying to just wait for kids to get off the game.
The demo stuff.
Yeah, we'd be playing. I'm like, oh man, this is so cool. And you can like pick the music. You had like, during that time, it came out like 2002. So like you had music on there like System of a Down, POD, Linkin Park, some cool stuff. I'm like, yes. And that was one of the coolest games. I remember I played that for hours and hours and hours. And
yeah.
I don't know if it like changed my life other than it was really fun.
Well, most of the games I'm mentioning are like story-based games that like, yeah, there's a moral to the story kind of thing. There's one more game. Life is Strange. That is also one of my favorite games. I also have another Life is Strange tattoo.
Okay. And so what is that one about?
That one is you play as this character named Max Caulfield who lives in like a small town kind of thing, and she like gains powers to kind of reverse time, and it kind of helps her story out because she finds out that the town is about to get wiped out by like a twister or whatever, and she tries to go through different paths. It's another kind of choice based.
Okay.
But she goes through different paths to try to like stop it. And then there's like I think she's in college in the game. Or no, she's in high school, but like it's a private school kind of thing.
Okay.
So there's other things going on. Like some girl got killed. There's people going missing. So during the whole thing, you kind of start figuring out. It's like almost like a murder mystery in it. But
that's kind of cool.
It's a really good game. It's one of my favorite games as well.
Yeah, there was this game I played one time on Nintendo. My brother Michael had rented it, and I played it, and it was so scary. I was young. I think it was on GameCube. We played it or something. It was this game. I can't remember what it's called for the life of me. I tried looking it up weeks back, and I'm sure there's games out there like it now. But like it was a campaign kind of game, or I guess decision based. You didn't have to make certain calls, but you would walk around. I guess it was like a horror game, where you would like take pictures of like the evil stuff or something, like, or the ghosts or whatever it may be. And like, you would have to then go back to the house with these pictures and like try and figure out like what it was and like not get caught. And like, it was interesting. I mean, it was, I'm sure if they made it nowadays, it'd be way more advanced and,
Yeah,
cooler.
so that sounds similar to, there's a newer somewhat horror game, Phasmophobia is what it's called.
Ah.
But basically, you can play with a group of people or by yourself, but you're ghost hunting in a house, and you have to go get evidence of it.
Oh, shit.
But like, you'd have fun playing that game, I think.
Now, when you say get evidence, do you get certain like ghost hunting tools and stuff?
Yeah.
Or do you have to like go lock yourself in a room and be like, I'm not leaving till you throw me across the room?
There's like recorders. There's all sorts of stuff. You can use just Ouija boards, tarot cards, even in it.
Like seance candles.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of. I think you would have a lot of fun playing that game. I'm for real.
I might have to play that. That sounds fun.
I think you'd enjoy it.
Now I wonder if like you're doing a seance in the game. I wonder like, I don't know, because like video games are kind of like a different. I wouldn't say it's a different realm. It's a video game, but like what if you're doing it there, but it's like it opens the portal here, because they can hear it.
That's scary to think about.
And it's got the actual candles and stuff.
That's why I don't play horror games.
Well, that's why I'm not going to play it if you don't know. I'm like, yo, I don't want to be like,
you're fine.
This is the ones.
Be fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to watch someone do it and be like, I got to cross in holy water. If you start sizzling, I'm out.
No, in the game, you have like a cross.
That's freaking funny.
I'm like,
they'll just be playing in front of me and they'll be like, just be splashing them on the neck hole, or they'll be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, does it hurt? Like, like, what? Why don't you like that water? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on, really? No, that's pretty cool. Phasmophobia. That's sweet. So what's your theory on like ghosts then? Or ghost spiritual, I guess, not if you're spiritual, but like the spiritual realm,
Yeah, I believe in spirits. I think spirits exist for sure. Demons.
Do you think spirits can take form on this earth? Like skin changers or, things like that?
I mean, bro, yeah.
So let me ask.
I don't be going to the woods at night no more.
Well, no, I mean, the Appalachia, the Appalachian Mountains, there's all these crazy, millions of stories and stuff about just, they say there's people that live there. They say it's people, but there are some crazy mountain people. You ever seen the movie, what is it, Deliverance? It's like, don't go in the mountains.
I haven't, but.
It was filmed in South Carolina. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, so it adds up. But it's like, if you think about what a skin changer is, if you dive down the roots of it, essentially it's Native American. Right. That's why Native Americans killed them. That is derived from that. It isn't necessarily Incan or Mayan or anything. I'm sure they've got their own versions of these things, but like,
yeah,
that's why, I've told you in the past too, like my family believes in werewolves. And I've always said like, it's just not maybe what you think it is, but they're real. And there you go.
What do you think it is?
I think it's exactly that. So when you dive down the roots of like a skin change, it's basically this dark process to where you have to, it's a personal seance on yourself to like put yourself to become one of those things, to where essentially, I mean, you know, the skin changers, they can basically take any form.
Yeah.
You know, it's granted, I don't think I've ever seen one. I've seen some weird stuff in the mountains though. I mean, there was definitely this one time when I lived up in Greenville, and this was, I mean, I can't get in touch with the dude that worked at the restaurant with me. Me and him went up there. He told me all about it. I'm like, I got to find this. It was this random, it was like if you've got Paris Mountain, which is outside of Greenville, Roper Mountain Road is like this big highway that runs there. And then there's another mountain. Can't remember what it's called, but on this mountain somewhere, there's no address. There's no like coordinates. There's no driveway. There's no nothing. All the locals had, like, I had to get this information strictly from locals. There's nothing on the internet anywhere. And he was like, dude, he's like, I've never been. He's like, but I'm from here, and I heard these stories growing up of this crazy like cult that lives up there that never leaves or anything. There's a like a wall around their whole facility, and it's like no door to get in or out or anything. And I'm like, what the hell? I was like, where's that? He's like, I only know kind of where it is. He's like, it's a big mountain, bro. I'm like, well, I don't want to just start looking for it and it get dark. And then them being like, we can hop the wall, you know, and then they're just like, I'm like, fuck you, you know, like be crawling at me in the woods. And so we stopped at this gas station. We were asking anyone. And I saw this guy who was working at this gas station. I was like, hey, man, do you know anything about these people that live on this mountain? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm from here. He's like, I grew up like 2 miles down the road. He's like, I could tell you anything you want. He's like, but don't go. He's like, I'll tell you all kind of stuff. He's like, just don't go. I was like, why? You know? And he said that these people, he's like, dude, they don't have faces. He's like, he's like, I don't know how to explain this to you. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, what? I was like, dude, I need to know where it's at. I was like, this conversation never happened. You've got one of those really old school like cameras, which is definitely fed to a box. Go delete this. I was like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fine. Just tell me where it's at. He's like, okay. So he told us how to get there. So we were like, we're gonna come back in like the morning, the next day, like full day to like, he's like, you got to drive down this road and then you got to park, you got to walk. He literally said, cause he's been there. He's like, got to walk in the woods northeast for 1.25 miles. And then he's like, you're going to go directly east for another 1/4 mile. He's like, there's no landmarks. He's like, other than there's these 3 trees that are connected and they grew into one tree. And then halfway up, they split like really fat. I was like, the fuck?
That sounds cool. But
it was cool. We saw it. I was like, okay. And so we get there and this wall is taller than my house. And I'm like, how the hell do we see over it? It's like cement, but then there's this one spot where I see this tree, and we're like, we can climb this tree and see over this wall. And so we climb over this tree, and we finally get up there, and the tree is pretty thick covered, but like the branches aren't that big, so we're really trying to like stay hidden. And we don't see anything going on. It's not like this weird castle. There's just all these little homes. Nothing like what you're used to seeing. Like, what's that movie? It's like the movie The Village, or like Sleepy Hollow, like a very dark, it looked like a little town.
Yeah.
Basically. It was like a little Amish community, but like not happy, you know?
Right.
We didn't see anybody, right? So we're looking around, we're like, this is weird. There's no cars, there's no nothing, there's no horses, there's no livestock. But you could tell people live there. I'm like, what the fuck is this, dude? Like, how do they even survive? You know? And we haven't seen anybody. We're sitting up there. We're like, we're going to stay until we see something. And he's like, dude, I see another tree way over there. He's like, but there's like the edge of the mountain, and we got to go over there and climb that tree, and we can see a little bit better. And so we go over there. It's like 3 PM. The mountains, it gets dark a lot quicker.
Yeah.
It is during the summer. And so we finally get over to this tree, and we climb up, and we see this giant oak tree. And it's growing in about probably as tall as me. Halfway up, there's a Buick LeSabre. It's a car that is in between this tree. The tree has grown around it.
Oh.
And this is like a fat live oak, really big. And I'm like, and this was in 2013. Both of our phones died. And I hate this about this story because we have no proof and we refuse to go back. you know. But I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, dude, I'm like, how is that car in that tree? That car is from the 90s. That tree's a couple, like maybe 1,000 years old. This makes no sense. Like that's like a 90s model LeSabre.
Mm-hmm.
Because my mom had one. And he's just like, what the fuck? I'm like, it's not like attached on both sides. It looked like it was like in between it. And then we see this group of people come out of the hut, and they're wearing these like dark gray like cloaks. And some of them have a hood on and some don't. We can't tell if they're male or female or anything. We just notice they're really pale. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And so we're watching, and I'm like, dude, this tree's not as well covered. We should probably get down. It's like 5, dude. I don't want to be up here. This is all looking weird. We need to probably go. He's like, dude, I want to see something else. Like, it took us like hours to get here. I'm like, it takes hours to get back, bro. I want to be in these woods, you know? I'm like not normally afraid of stuff, but I've never seen something like this to where I'm like not speculating, assuming it's something crazy, but it is something crazy. Like there's no way in here. I don't even see crops growing. You know what I mean? I don't see animals and stuff like, how the fuck do these people live? You know what I mean? And we're watching, and he sees the glimpse of one of their faces, and he's just like, dude, they're pale as shit. He's like, dude, his nose looks like Voldemort. I'm like, and I'm like trying to see, and I did have a monocular with me, like not 2 binoculars. I'm like, dude, I'm like, look at this shit. And we zoom in, both look at his face, and his nose is like up like a pig, but like really flush to his face. I'm like, dude, I don't see any eye fucking holes. I'm like, what the hell? He's like, we need to go now. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit, dude?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, dude, no. Breathe. I was like, we're freaking out. We need to calm down before we climb down the tree, before one of us makes some noise. We don't want to be horror movie status. We see something freak out, they hear us, they come after us kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we sit up there, we breathe. I had like a little bit of a joint with me. Like this is like a decade ago. And I'm like, no, we can't light this. They'll smell that. They'll be like, this is a new smell. Like, no. And so we're freaking the fuck out. And so we climb down finally. And I'm like, dude, we need to get to the car quicker. I'm like, dude, which way did we come from? I'm like, I never get lost. I'm really good at being in the middle of nowhere and finding my way out. It was because if this is the way we came in and we were going right over here, instead of going this way, I remember for some reason he said go this way. But in my mind, I'm like, we went this way. And so we're sitting there like, well, where did we go? Where did we go? I'm like, dude, it's getting dark. So we finally figured out. We get back. We see the tree landmark. And when we get to the tree, we know it's 1.25 miles back to the place, straight shot. We're like 2 miles away from this place we're just at. And I'm standing there. I'm like, let's breathe for a second, dude. We've got an hour left of daylight. It's getting dark in the woods. I'm not worried about bears. I'm worried about whatever that was. And he's like, dude, what the fuck? He's like, I heard stories about this, but no one ever told me that. He said people would come up, see the wall, and leave. I was like, okay. And so, of course, we're more calm now. So who knows? So we're standing at this tree, breathing. We didn't bring any extra water or anything. You know, we're like full on like hiking up a mountain. So we're a little dehydrated. And I hear something behind me, and I'm like, hey, did you hear that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I don't think it was anything. I'm like, okay. And so we get to walking back. I'm like, I'm going to walk a little quicker, dude, because I grew up hunting, and I'd be sitting in the stand, and you would hear like, you know, whether it be a rabbit or a squirrel in the woods, and you would be like, oh, that's not a deer. You could tell a deer by the way, like something snaps with how heavy it would have to be for that snap to go off, you know? Right. I was like, dude, that wasn't just something. I was like, and I don't smell an animal. Like you could smell wild animals sometimes before. He's like, I don't know, dude. He's like, we're not too much further. I'm like, all right, let's go. So we finally make it. I'm like, I can see the opening where we like parked at, and we get back there, and we're at the car. We're touching the car. We're drinking water, rehydrating, and we both look back up in the woods, and we just see like these like shadows going quickly by all the way up this hollow, going straight up. But we could probably see a 1/4 mile up, and we just see them going like this, like shadows. Really far up in the hollow of the mountain. It's getting dark, but we could see it's more than one. It's just happening over and over. I'm like, what the fuck is that, dude? He's like, I don't know, but I'm rehydrated. He's like, what is that? And we can't really tell. And I guess I lost my binocular. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm not going back for it. It could stay in those woods. We go back to the gas station. We ask this guy, we're like, what the hell, dude? He's like, He's like, don't go back. He's like, they'll remember you. He's like, they always do. He's like, don't go back. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So long story. I've told people about this. I've told them kind of where it was, and who knows? It's like the police. Like I even asked a cop at one of the places I worked up in Greenville. I'm like, you ever heard of this? He's like, no. I'm like, okay. And so what? So I guess whenever you say you believe, little, I wouldn't call that a ghost story. It wasn't the first cult I've walked up on. I'll tell you, that was one of the weirdest ones.
It's got to be vampires, man. I'm just saying.
It could be. I mean, because when you think, because I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, it would add up to the theory of no way in, no way out, no livestock. They're pale. Like, but I don't know. It wasn't like the town looked like the village, but it didn't look like a creepy little town. It was creepy because we were creeped out, but it didn't look anything like what they just looked like very simple homes. Like it wasn't like a little witch's hut kind of thing. They look like simple homes, very simple, built from the land homes. And I'm like, what the fuck? So, yeah, I mean, it could have been vampires or whatever. I don't know. It could be like a portal to hell because you got Suicide Force in Japan and there's so many theories on that. But yeah, so you say you believe in like demons and spirits and stuff. You ever had any like crazy things happen to you? Anything you've seen?
Not directly to me. I just, I mean, I've heard lots of stories. I grew up with my mom watching, like Ghost Adventures and stuff like that, which I know sometimes that stuff's like faked and whatever, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough to like prove that kind of a thing. That's why I ghost hunt. I want proof, because I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, but I believe in evil energies and good energies. And I believe they can, if you're the wrong or right person, they can definitely be a part of you. I definitely think that that's true. Because even like the Bible and ancient history, like, the movie Constantine wasn't just something made up. There's been times throughout history where people have been almost given certain, I wouldn't call it necessarily a gift more than a curse or something you could say, but like that sixth sense for seeing something good or evil and like, I don't know, not having the fear to like be able to like do something about it. Who knows what that is, but it's definitely not me. I don't want to go wrestle a demon. It's no, I'm a pass on that. Yeah. So you believe in that? What about aliens? I saw this thing with the drones and stuff, that are all over the country that this guy had reported same drones up in New Jersey. And this guy said, he was like, look, he's like, I saw them come out of the ocean. He said he saw them 2 at a time come out of the ocean, the same ones we saw. I was like, what?
The ocean's scary.
Well, and then you listen to people like, and this is why I take this theory more realistically. It is a theory. Even the guy says it's a theory, but he knows more than NASA. Elon Musk theory on aliens is that he's like, they could be coming from above. He's like, but I know that it's how more likely they're coming from the ocean.
Well, yeah, because NASA was actually, NASA was originally created to explore
That's
like
what
the
I'm
ocean,
saying.
and they found some shit, and they're like, "Fuck this, went up, out of here." They're like, let's leave this fucking planet. So
Yeah,
that's a little suspicious. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, no, I definitely I believe in aliens. I think aliens exist around us all the time. I think that.
and what does that mean? Like,
I don't think aliens are like the green little goblin shits everyone like, points out. I think that aliens like live amongst us.
What's that show, Resident Alien or something, where the dude's an alien but he like is in human form or something? It's like a TV show about it. Someone's told me about it.
I know there's a Marvel thing. I don't know. Why do I not remember what it's called?
Yeah, I mean that, I've always known that there's got to be aliens, but my theory is whether they're coming from below or above. Now, if they're coming from below, that would explain a lot of things that we don't have answers to, that scientists are like literally spend their whole career on. Like, there's so many scientists that have spent their career on the Bermuda Triangle, no answers. Some, but like that would explain theories like that, like just ships missing.
Yeah.
Airplanes gone.
Aliens.
You know, it's like it would explain, yeah, it would explain that theory. It would explain things like why we can't go but so far. Because I am a believer we're going to keep getting so further and further with science, but we're not going to go all the way down the ocean ever. Never.
No,
It will never happen.
absolutely
And
not.
anybody viewing whatever you want to think about is fine. You're open to your point of view, but I'm like, no, I don't see it happening. I mean, there's so many variables to why you wouldn't even want to do that. Like, say you have the oxygen, a container that can take you down there. Like, the amount of time it would take you to get back up if something went south, you know, it's like, I don't know. What if they sent a spaceship into the ocean? Maybe that would work. If it can take outer space.
Maybe. The only thing is they'd have to account for like the pressure.
Yeah.
With that, because that's how the whole thing with the submarine. Do you remember that whole thing happening?
No, what you talking about?
There was I don't remember specifically what it was, but there was like the submarines that would take like billionaires down.
Oh shit!
Like it was like it was like you could fit like 4 people in this little thing, and it was a little submarine that would go down, and one of them like imploded in the ocean, and it killed a bunch of billionaires, so it got really popular.
Damn.
But like even that happened because I guess the pressure system was wrong or something. But like if they could get the pressure and stuff right, they could probably do that.
I mean, my thing is like, how could you get the pressure right? Because you don't know what the pressure needs to be when you get the further and further. You know, it's like it's crazy. You know, but you look at some of this stuff, like, you know, when you look at like the aliens and things like that. You know, it's you know, with all these drones too, is like, I actually saw one probably a couple weeks back. And it was one of the ones that's not, it was like the size of like a small car, but not like the Escalade size ones, but it had like, you couldn't hear it. Like I saw it, I was kind of near Williams-Brice Stadium over there, kind of near like a lot of the dorms and stuff for USC, like over there. And I was like, what is that? You know, it's a low plane. Granted, there's the airport right there, the small airport. I was like right by the skate park and I'm like, that's not a fucking airplane. I pull over, I'm like, that's weird. You know, it's a little drone, but I see people posting these videos. They'll see the same drones that you're seeing on the news, but then beside it, around it, or above it, it's just a solid glowing orb, like with them. And you know what I mean? It's like, we don't have any technology to like recreate some of these videos. I know there's this app, and this week I'm going to go in through this app that I've paid for and I've been a member with. It's called, they just updated it. It's called, Enigma, basically. It's you can view all the UFO sightings around the whole planet and people's videos of them. And this is all like personal footage and stuff. And then people can go through and comment on them and kind of like state whether or not they saw it or if it looks real or an explanation to it. And it's, I don't know, it's crazy. I definitely believe in aliens. I don't think they're, you know, the green things and stuff too. But
yeah,
I don't think that they're also look like us. You know, I don't think that I don't know, because seeing like...
I think maybe they can look like us.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a possibility. I think they have technology to do stuff like that, like the Mission Impossible thing where he'll look like someone, it'll be that, or like Black Widow. She, you know, that whole thing was taken from Mission Impossible, by the way, where she would like, you know, it'd be like the invisible face. I was like Tom Cruise and like early Mission Impossible stuff, like, but I'm sure they could do things like that. But you know, there's this documentary out there, and this guy's awesome. His name's James Fox. It's called The Program. It's on Amazon Prime. I'm not paid to speak about this, but it is amazing. This guy is a skeptic of aliens, but he believes in them until he can find some proof, you know. And he went around and, you know, in 2017, we had all this political stuff where Congress was forced to speak about it. You know, it like hit the news. Like it was big time. They were like, you know, you need to talk about it. We need to know what's going on. And then they passed this law to where if you've seen anything, know anything, you're required to report it. And we can give you witness protection, all that kind of stuff. And then so much stuff started like coming through like the woodworks with all this. And then in that documentary, he interviews a guy, and there's this old documentary. It's Encounters of the Third Kind. And all that movie is entirely like a replication of Project Blue Book, where were a few encounters of third kind, meaning having an interaction with a being. you know, and it's crazy to hear this guy talk about it because it sounds like such a crazy story. But then he's been hooked up to a lie detector. You know, I'm not going to like release his name or anything yet because he hasn't like fully come out about it, but he has been interviewed and you can see like, you know, said name, and it will all be released soon. He is going to release his name and everything and all this stuff going on with it. But it was on an Air Force base, and this back in the 90s. And there were so many witnesses, they all had the same story, and they weren't even beside each other. You know, it's freaking crazy. But he said he wasn't like afraid of it, but he was because he didn't know, like he said it had this weird like substance all over its body and this weird smell. And he was just like, he left. And then the thing went and got in one of these pill looking things and like was gone. And it sounds like such a crazy story. Like, oh, this is such bullshit. But like when you hear all the people that talked about it and all the similar sightings and stuff, it's like, well, I don't know. What could it be? I mean, a pill thing could be like a submarine. Just, you know, freaking go down.
Yeah. I know in 2020, there was the whole, like, do you remember, like, the Area 51 raid and stuff like that? Like, people were doing that stupid shit. I know that there was some, like, FBI documents that were released, basically, like, confirming aliens and stuff. Of course, it could have been fabricated or something, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's... you know, when you look back, Roswell, New Mexico, 47, it's, you know, the FBI has a lot of power and they can do good and bad with it, but also think it would be wise to not let the general public know everything about aliens if they know it. I don't think we would take that information well.
Probably not.
I think that definitely small doses is smart because massive hysteria and freaking out people, it'd be bad news, you know?
Yeah.
It's but like the theory between Roswell is like it was never a UFO. It was a craft that was from Argentina that was built by the Germans. And in that time that'd be Adolf Hitler. And he had basically had multiple time machines he had built. Whether or not they worked, we don't know. But that same time that this was found there, you know, that's the theory. There's a lot of stuff that goes through as to why that could be and could not be true.
Right.
But I do know 90 days after that, that's one of the biggest first, like, you know, documented kind of phenomenons is 90 days after that, the CIA was born. 90 days after Roswell, the Air Force departed from the Army and made their own branch. Then the National Security Act was founded, all these weird things. And you also have things hitting the world of the, you know, general public in America, like LSD. Certain drugs are starting to become popular. And so I'm sure like it could have happened this way. This is my theory, is like the FBI or someone could have been like all these people tripping on drugs in like a little field in the woods. It was aliens. Or the FBI, like, you know, I mean, then they probably gave them like a false viewing of it. Not saying I don't believe in aliens. I don't think that was, you know, but who knows? You know, it's one of those things where the Cold War never got hot because, you know, we were working with Russia the whole time. It's and why we're working with Russia is because Russia was the first ones to technically find some type of a being. And a lot of people don't realize that it is the government has been required to talk about this now. We now have an actual task force, a 3-letter organization. It's been this way for about 30 years, but now we know about it, and it's a crash recovery team.
Right.
And they go out and observe crashes. But they were never reporting back to Nevada, you know, Area 51 area. It was Ohio.
Yeah.
Dayton, Ohio area.
Yeah.
You know, it's
the
like,
Area 51 stuff was like fake.
Yeah, it's like, look what I'm doing over here. Well, it's like right over here.
Actually over there, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's crazy. Crazy
it's always
stuff.
Ohio, man. It's always Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio doesn't have anything good. It's like, what the hell? It's flat. It's a Bob Evans everywhere. Freaking everyone eats a Cracker Barrel, works at a freaking damn rice cake factory or something stupid. Yeah, so I guess you know, with your streaming and stuff, where can people go watch you owning some noobs and stuff and watch you, do all your content, creating everything you're doing and keep up with all the things you're kind of, dabbling in with creating,
Yeah, well, now that TikTok's gone, my YouTube channel.
R.I.P.
Yeah, for sure. My YouTube channel, it's You Are a Pancake, spelled just like you think it is. That's my gaming channel, and then I also have another channel called Cayla Edits. That's mostly, just little creative things I like to do, as well as soon I'll have some promotional stuff. Trying to kind of do some freelance editing. That's my goal of where I want to be at. So,
hell yeah,
get that out there.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's cool stuff. Yeah, definitely go check it out. You Are Pancake, not waffle, not crepes. Pancake. You Are Pancake. And go watch some Apex Legends, owning some people, some cool commentary,
something like that.
Shooting little 12-year-olds, not in real life. That'd be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do that in real life, but in the video games, they'd be talking a big talk, and you're like, sorry, little Timmy. Be like, yeah, I'm going for gold. And then who knows, you might be on the League of Legends next time. I'm sure you could get there. But it's been great chatting, talking about some conspiracies and video games and, fun in life, talking shit about the Amish. We love y'all though. Good butter. Keep it up.
Good food.
Yeah, good butter. The bread was a little dry, but it's less yeast. But yeah, cool. Until next time, it's been awesome and appreciate it.